At Rightline News. Instead of blaming the mentally ill person who shot up a Florida high school, idiot liberals are blaming the inanimate object just so they can make a political point. Newsflash: gun control does not work. Bad people do not follow laws. Guns keep us safe from bad people. At Rawang, at Daily News, to Datum at Daily News.
Degrees. I am a small business owner. You want to kick me out, Tucker?
The basis of a country is citizenship. It's something against you personally. It just has to be that way, or else it's not a country, right?
Absolutely. So let's create additional legal channels for people to be able to bring their close.
How about we decide who comes? How about we don't let people who come illegally bully us into bringing their relatives? How about we as Americans decide who makes the cut and who doesn't?
Actually, we already did. Congress did that over the course of the last 100 years. Has established a firm family immigration
system. Falling apart.
System.
Thanks.
We're trying to dismantle
thanks to a bipartisan effort to bring in cheap labor. Thank you.
And there's a lot of shame, concern, or maybe they've been ostracized from the family. It's the family's problem. I hate to admit that, because if the family does not take care of it, does not understand what's going on, and the propensity for violence, look at what happens. It extends past the family. We saw this in Columbine. Columbine was a case of a man with a lot of issues with his mother. That's what it was. And so part of this is just people feeling empowered to say something is terribly wrong here. And then on the school side, we're going to learn a lot, and I'm absolutely losing it tonight, Jim. I mean, I'm so sick of this. I cannot tell you. And I have kids in high school, in an urban public high school, so the school had sufficient sort of knowledge, and for whatever reason, they didn't feel empowered. The law enforcement wasn't giving them enough resources. So there was two sort of data points here, right? You sort of have the potential victims who, you know, sort of wanted the school needed the school to pay more attention, and then the family.
I'm with you. I'm a parent, but whether you're a parent or not, it's just difficult to hear. It's difficult to watch, and again, and again.
At Sarah Palanusa, terrible. Planned Parenthood and the Democratic Party have made it clear how they stand on abortion. They are at war with anyone who believes there should.
And principal came on the speaker and just said, everyone needs to evacuate right now. So that's what we did. As I was going down the stairs, I heard a couple shots fired. Everyone was freaking out, saying that it was a gun. And as we were walking, the whole class together, I actually was speaking to the suspect, Nicholas Cruz. And as I was speaking to him, he seemed very, I don't know what the word I want to say is, but he was trouble in middle school. So I kind of joked to him about it and said, I'm surprised you weren't the one who did it. And he just gave me a huh? So that's really what happened.
You were walking down the hall, he had already fired at that time.
Yes, sir, with him.
Weren't you scared?
In the moment I wasn't, because there was obviously definitely another shooter involved. But
oh, you think he was not the only one?
No, definitely not.
Why do you say that?
Because when shots were fired, I saw him after the fact. So, and the shots were coming from the other part of the building. So there definitely had to be two shooters involved, I believe.
That's the first I've heard of that. Did you see any other students who were wounded?
No, sir.
At 4chan's bust. Press F to pay respects. At still great, what? At Cernovich. Time for a special counsel. Justice Department official Bruce Orr did not disclose Fusion GSP was paying his wife or was demoted from his post after the information. At Art Devana. What has tone deaf to the liberal is aspirational to the conservative. At Fortune. Japan is surprisingly passionate about the Second Amendment. By a good one. This would significantly undermine efforts to keep firearms out of dangerous hands. Gun control advocates say. Turkish sports bar in Berlin Kersberg Frauen dürfen hier nicht train Berliner Kurier at Berliner Kur. At Micro Mystery, while I'm waiting for MBean to knock me out, you guys should think about deleting your tweets every night. It does very little to keep them around, and Twitter indexes basically anything over like 1 to your tweets. Around there. At Still Grey. Communists. A local Florida blood center said there is a need to replenish blood supplies after a deadly shooting at a Florida high school. At Thomas 1774 Payne. Assign me, the NC letter may have uncovered Obama's keen to have be frame up Trump. The contents of a newly uncovered letter sent in 2016 to then FBI Director James Comey by House Democrats is raising questions whether both the Democrats and then President Barack Obama tried to use. At Still Grey. This is so pathetic. The picture, though. Pupil Jaime Gutenberg and football coach Aaron Weiss were among those shot during the gun rampage at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. At Yashar, at People Maria. This tweet is about a year old, but it feels so right. At Real Daily Wire. Shaun White wins gold, brags flag. Internet explodes. At Elizabeth Banks. Sending my love to Parkland. Gun control policy and change. At Tiger Wolski, at Jackatep, at CNN, at NR. Since the Columbine shooting in 1999, 150,000 students have gone through a school shooting at Jackatep, reports just now on at CNN. We let that happen by allowing AtNerd to hijack our democracy and buy off lawmakers. At CNBCJOU. Nestle Nissan sales ampersand organic growth came in at 2.4% for 2017 vs 2.7% expectations. Operating profit 15.8% UA ampersand EBS 15.8% UA. Statement on L'Oreal below. I'll be sitting down with the CEO Mark Schneider shortly. Nestle L'Oreal earnings. At MCSPOCKY. Warren addresses Pocahontas slur in surprise address to National Congress of American Indians. Ethiopia releases high-profile political prisoners. Africa DW 14.2018. Police raids in Milton Keynes rescue modern slavery victims. News DW 14.2018. Carnival parades drum millions across Germany. News DW 12.2018. Boeing Dong party pressure. South African President Jacob Zuma resigns. France 24. Germany considering free public transportation to take on air pollution. News DW 13.2018. Amazon surpasses Microsoft in market value for the first time. In Homs, Assad accused of using military for urban planning. Syria deeply. Everyone hates Silicon Valley, except its imitators. Wired. Airbus takes $1.6 billion charge on A400M military plane. In Homs, Assad accused of using military for urban planning. Syria deeply. Zero-gravity party plane takes off in Frankfurt, Germany. News DW 072.2018. Jeff Weiner LinkedIn found a way to grow talent solutions. Teva shares jump 11% after Berkshire reports $358 million stake. Who is going to buy the International Space Station wired? Illegal fishing world as seafood supply endangered by criminals at sea. Idlib women in jeopardy. What comes next? Syria deeply. Kuwait summit promises $30 billion in Iraq reconstruction aid. News DW 14.2018. Trump fires first salvo on drug prices. Alex Jones InfoWars. There is a war on for your mind. From India to buying South Africa, the rise and fall of Agaptus Friends 24. Students ban offensive Valentine's Day. Alex Jones InfoWars. There is a war on for your mind. Idlib women in jeopardy. What comes next? Syria deeply. Yahoo Mail free email with 1000 GB of storage. South Korea's Pyeongchang Winter Olympics costs. Benefits of hosting. Barack and Michelle Obama portraits unveiled in Washington News DW 12 2.2018. The Trump stain spreads the New York Times.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're in the mix with the Chainsmokers. Alex and Drew, the Chainsmokers. You're in the mix.
Politics Yahoo News latest news ampersand headlines.
This is Nice Hair on Electric Area, Sirius XM.
What up, y'all? It's Chainsmokers here with another amazing episode of Nice Hair.
Trump fires first salvo on drug prices. Alex Jones info hours. There is a war on for your mind.
Doing this show for over 3 years now. So thank you guys for all the loyal people out there who continually listen to this mix and
Friend trade in Mali leaves at least 10 jihadists dead. Friends 24.
Make up most of the songs of these mixes, so we're very grateful to everyone anyways right now. We got a great mix coming up. We got two of the best producers on the goddamn planet, Peg Ward the Nerds, doing a guest mix this month.
In my last video,
the impact of Chechen and North Caucasian militants in Syria deeply.
I said I would do a part 2 and feature Q posts about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Senator John McCain. And this update will take us
Pennsylvania
in that
Republicans
direction
map
and down a
proposal.
rabbit
Staying
hole
it remains a
I
partisan
didn't expect
gerrymander.
to go down. But first, I want to remind everyone about a post from Q on November 11th, 2017, in which he said, "Dark to light, why is this relevant? One side of the triangle removed, first time in history, other sides falling." And even though I believe that post was in reference to the House of Saud, I think it's important to ask, dark to light, why is this relevant? And I'd like to show this photo again of President Trump being surrounded by those who are praying for him and our country. And Q's post that says, "Prayer every day in the OO," the Oval Office. I think this should be a Pulitzer Prize winning photo. And in my last video, we went inside the matrix, literally, of North Korea, which may be a place that literally grows people, brainwashes them, and uses them for human trafficking, uses the children for sex trafficking, and may even harvest their organs and their adrenochrome. As Q has said, it's all far worse than you can imagine. The deeper we go, the more unrealistic it all becomes. The choice to know will be yours. Let's dig into John McCain and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. On
Video
February
CNN
11th,
continues to
Q
praise North
posted
Korea.
this
Alex
image
Jones info
of
hours.
John
There is a war on
McCain,
for your
and Q
mind.
says he's not a war hero. He's a mega millionaire. M Institute.
3 hours after driver tried to enter NSA campus. NBC4 Washington.
We'll talk about that in a second. And of course, his donors, Rothschild, Clinton Foundation, Saudi Arabia, etc. And Q links to this article from our friends at Disobedient Media. McCain Institute's failure to use donations for anti-trafficking purposes raises questions. See, it's all tied together, isn't it? When we hear about the Clinton Foundation, the McCain Institute, the problem of human trafficking.
Processing search parameters. Found a juicy. Hash remains found a girl who disappeared at French wedding France 24. Now this is out there. International News 24/7.
Electric area.
Latest update to 018-0214. Investigators at last found Liz Diarrao's skull and some other remains Wednesday in a snow-covered ravine 6 months after she went missing, according to Grenoble prosecutor Jeanne Coquillat. Police were led to the remote site by chief suspect Nordal Lalonde, who was arrested and charged after her disappearance but repeatedly had denied wrongdoing. He was a guest at the same wedding in Pont de Beauvoisin, near the French mountain city of Chambéry. Lalonde decided to come clean Wednesday after investigators found traces of the girl's blood in the trunk of Lalonde's car, the prosecutor told reporters. Charles in Charge actor details Scott Biohash abuse allegations. New York Daily News. Wild, this is just wild. Get our instant notifications as news happens. You can manage them anytime using browser settings. When child actor Alexander Polinsky first walked in on Scott Bio allegedly molesting Nicole Eggert on the 1980s set of Charles in Charge, he had no idea what he stumbled upon or the unrelenting abuse that would follow, he said Wednesday. He was 11 or 12 at the time, newly cast on the hit 1980s sitcom Charles in Charge. I observed Scott with our co-star Nicole on his lap backstage. I was so naughty, I innocently hopped on his lap with her, expecting to hear a story about Funzie or Happy Days or something awesome, Polinsky said at an emotional press conference with Eggert and their lawyer Lisa Blue. These companies are changing how Asia thinks about hash food. This is amazing. More people are eating today than yesterday. The majority of these people live in Asia, a continent which has an intense cultural connection to food. Securing a better way to feed Asia's growing population is what motivates Just CEO Josh Tetrick to challenge the status quo of the food industry. Tetrick, 37, sees Asia as the tip of the spear to fix the world's broken food system. We need to answer the question of how can we produce enough food for a planet which will see 70% growth in food demand between now and 2050, says Tetrick, whose company has attracted high-profile investors such as Hong Kong business magnate Li Ka-shing. One of the fastest-growing segments of the $8 trillion global food and agricultural market is the multi-billion-dollar egg industry. China produced over 30% of the 1 trillion eggs that were laid last year, which has raised numerous environmental concerns on the continent. To disrupt this, Tetrick introduced Just Scramble at the flagship location of Green Common, a plant-based dining and shopping store that has chains across Hong Kong. Just Scramble is made from mung bean, which is one of Asia's most familiar beans. It looks and tastes just like an egg. It is high in protein, has zero cholesterol, and sold over 800 orders of Just Scramble teriyaki and all day Just Scramble in the first 6 days. Just Scramble requires less water and emits fewer carbon emissions than conventional eggs, but Tetrick knows that this does not drive consumers. I think far less than 1% of the 7.4 billion people on Earth are driven by the environmental benefit of plant-based food. People just want to feed their family with something they have confidence in. They want food that tastes amazing and makes them feel amazing, says Tetrick.